are very happy to see participants from many organizations today, and we hope this webinar will be useful for you in your daily journey. I'm Cristina Carini, UN Agency Key Account, and together with my colleague Ramon Pedrini, I will introduce you to the theme of today. These webinars in English are part of a wider project developed thanks to the collaboration with FAO and WFP, and to the long-term agreement we signed with them, which is valid for all UN agencies. I would like to devote only some minutes to SPS as a firm, you know. SPS has been founded in 1994 and has been active in the world of statistical analysis and SPSS technologies ever since. We work with university, healthcare organization, UN agency, and so on. Why do we talk about statistics for data analysis as a solution? At SPS, we take care of our customers from assessing the need for analysis to choosing the most suitable statistics for data analysis solution. Statistics for data analysis combines, along with SPSS statistical engine, our experience in the world of statistical analysis. In addition to supporting our customers directly, we sought tools that would allow us to share our knowledge. The first tool that I would introduce you is Launchbox, an operational tool. Launchbox is your dashboard to keep in touch with SPS proposal with us for training, new features, opportunities, and so on. Downloading the Launchbox, you download in the same times add-ons. Add-ons are additional features built in natively that strengthen your tool. Some example of add-ons: P-scores for propensity score matching, and Uden to set a cutoff of a ROC curve. Okay, it's time to figure out the theme of today. Ramon, I left you the stage.
Okay, thank you, Cristina.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hopefully, you can see the screen.
Yes, perfect. I see your agenda very well.
Okay, perfect.
Have a nice webinar.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Ramon Pedrini, and apart from being a teacher for SPS, and I've been for a while now, I also work into environmental engineering, and so that's why we choose this topic for today's webinar. As the agenda was showing also before, but also as the name suggests, we will focus on tables and charts that can help us to visualize and report our results, or simply the first step of our work, because you can put tables and charts in between a process of knowledge. First of all, knowledge about how your data, what your data are showing, and what's included in that. So we will see the basics to operate the software, because our focus in these webinars is to let you see also how it's done, not just a theoretical information, but precisely how it's done with SPS. So we will be focusing more on the software than on the theory, which is also light, very light. So the first topic is how to create a table. So which are the basic ingredients that we will be needing, and not surprisingly, the base of every analysis is the data. So let me just briefly introduce you to the data set we will be using today, so that the examples might be also easier to comprehend. So we have in this data set information about different nations, first of all, in different years, because we have a periodical evaluation of this information, and we have the population of the country that might change during the years or might be stable. And then we have information more on the environmental side, which are plastic waste, the amount in tons of plastic waste produced by year, and also the plastic which is recycled. So we might be looking at different profiles. Different nations might be more efficient than others. And also the same kind of information, but relatively on paper. So we have the paper waste and the paper that is being recycled each year. I also divided the data set between European Union countries and world countries, just because we have a little sample that brings a little bit of everything onto the stage. Okay, so this is the data set we'll be using, and is I think something that everyone can understand and relate to, because it's a daily situation. The first topic is tables, because maybe probably we will be starting from tables to represent our data set, because in the with this tool we are very efficient and synthetic to represent something that we think is important. In this case, I represented the mean information for meaning all the 4 years available into just one information. Okay, I'm not dividing in this time into different years. I'm just considering how it's every country in population mean. But also with tables, usually we have appropriate charts that might or graph that might help us to better visualize what we are saying or showing into a table, because clearly the information here is perfectly correct and quite informative, but it's not as simple to visualize what's inside, which is the biggest country and how all the others relate to that. So for that, we might choose to a proper charts. And finally, we can also, with the tables, in particular with the tool I'll be teaching you today, which is the chart table, custom tables, we can divide into the measurement into more categories. Here we choose nations, and so that's what we are showing, but we can also divide into more category to create a report which is more explicative of the phenomenon we studied. Okay, so that was the outcome, and now we can see still into the slide, but then we will switch to the software itself, SPS. How the custom table tool works. So I printed here the dialog box which opens when we choose to do a custom table, and highlighting where are the can say the places that we need to work with to create first of all a preview of what we are going to do. So here in the middle, we'll see in the next slide, we will create a preview that can help us to understand if what we are asking to the software is exactly what we want. So we will drag and drop the proper variable into the proper place. So if we choose, as we did in the previous example, to put nation into rows, then this is where it will be showing your information relative to the nation variable. And then we can choose into the columns to put information about the population or other information like plastic waste or recycling, etc. So with the drag and drop solution, we can easily create a preview, and there it is, of our future table. So here you see nation into the rows, and we have all the possibilities, and then I've put all the other scale variable into the columns so that I can compare them. No? For each country, I will have in the same row different information. Maybe I'm not able to relate too much population to plastic waste, but still it might be sensible that a bigger country produce more plastic. But especially I can visualize into a table that can be shown and reported the plastic waste compared to the plastic recycle, for example. Then we will dive into what we can do and how we can modify this solution to so that it suits more our goal. And so that, as I reported, we can change also the statistics. Here we are showing the mean value, but we can choose a different approach, especially here that we are actually condensing into the mean value for different years. We can choose other solutions, and we will see that just now. So before going further with the slide, I will switch to the software itself. Then we will go back a little bit to finish the slide presentation. So this is the SPS software. Here we are showing the data view. So we have the actual data. In the variable view, we can have a quicker visualization of what the variables actually are. So we have instead also category and nation, and here I've already explained it to you. We can check which country are actually present into this data set. So we have the European countries first, and then we have the rest of the world. And then I also have a variable that can be useful to create an even more synthetic report, which is three big categories in which the country are divided for their size. So we have more than 60 million people and in the first category, and between 60 and 15 million in the second, and the last one is between 15 and 6 millions. This in this data set, I have taken out the countries that are too small to be compared to the others in terms of population and plastic and waste, generally speaking. So that's why we don't have the smallest category. And then we have the actual variables, and so that we will be working on mostly. Okay, so the first step that we are going to see is the custom tables, and this tool is available inside the Analyze menu. And then we go to Tables, and we choose Custom Tables. So you'll see that what appears is exactly what I've shown you into the slides. Here we can modify a little bit our workspace, so that suits our needs best. And then with the drag and drop option, we can create the variable that we need, the table that we need. You see that now that I've selected nation, I can also see which country, which categories are included into this variable. First of all, I can drag and drop into the rows the variable nation, and then you see it's starting to, the preview is starting to appear, and we will add population. Okay, so a very simple table, and that's the one we already saw. With the if we give the OK, you see that we are producing quickly our table. The best things, in my opinion, to this tool, the custom tables, is that I'm going to change it, change the outcome of what I already created, complicating a little bit more, so adding more information available. And I can go back to the same tool, find it already organized as I left it. And so, for example, now I might be interested in seeing what the variable year is hiding from me, because right now I've just asked the mean value, okay? But and so all the years are combined together. But if I drag and drop year as well into my columns, you see I can create 4 new rows, 4 new columns, and the information will be now divided, and I will have one information for each year. I'm still representing the mean value. In case I have more than one information relative to one country for 1 year, it's not actually necessary in this data set, but in this way I'm actually representing all the information I have. Okay, so here we can see if some country, we can report more than see, because as I said before, to actually visualize what we are reporting, it's better to use a graph or a chart, as someone might say. But here we have the information available if someone needs the actual number, let's say that. Okay, and I'll go back to the custom table. Right now I'm satisfied with the information I can extract from the population variable. Actually, I have shown all the information available. Now I will be focusing onto the plastic waste. So I can take out of my table with the cancel button both population and year. I'm not interested in dividing by year right now. I'm more interested in comparing two different variables together. So plastic waste and plastic recycle, this time they are going to be paired, okay? And now I can choose to, for example, to change my my statistics, because now an information that might be even more useful might be the sum of plastic waste and plastic recycled, because of course the summing the, I think it's said, the population is not meaningful, because most of the people who were there in the year 2016 is still there 2 years after, no? But the waste is annually produced, so it is actually meaningful to change the statistics. To do that, I just go to summary statistics, and if I press this button, you see in the default mode I have the mean value requested. I can change it. I can go to the sum and ask for the sum instead. Then I will apply to all, so that both the variable I've selected will be showing this information. Okay, so if I press OK, now what I'm reporting here is not just the mean value for Austria, Belgium, etc., but is the sum. So in the period of monitoring, in the monitored period, this is the ton amount of waste, plastic waste produced and the plastic waste recycled. Okay, so you can see that with the tables, I can, with the custom tables, I can adjust my report and find the perfect solution and the perfect visualization to my data, actually. I want to show you one more thing about the custom tables, and then we will see how we can switch from tables to charts. And I use this button that allows me to go back to the last thing I did. So I'm back here. And one more interesting thing that we can do, working this time not with the quantitative variable, but with the nominal variable, I can create a change or create new categories and totals. Okay, so here I have all my different country in this example. I can choose to exclude some of them from my report if I think they are not showing something interesting, or for any reason missing data or whatever. I can choose to exclude some country, okay, if I want. This is just an example, so I will keep United Kingdom with us. But because these countries comes from different part of the world, I can choose to create a subtotal that will tell me how is doing Europe, for example, and how is doing the rest of the world. If I had more data, I could divide it, for example, into continents or other meaningful information. To add a subtotal, I just have to choose the proper name and, of course, the organization who must be into the subtotal, who must not. So here we are taking into consideration for the subtotal EU countries from 2 to 25. So we have from Austria to United Kingdom. And then we create another subtotal for the rest of the world. And we'll call it, oops, sorry. Okay. Okay, in this way, in my chart, I will have two more information, actually four more information, which is the total amount of plastic waste produced by this country from Europe, okay, and also the compared recycled. And in the end, I can have a subtotal that represents all of the rest of the world. Okay, so I can create as much as I want subtotal levels, and to better report and visualize the phenomenon I'm studying. Okay. And from this table, I can actually switch directly to graph visualization, because in with the SPS solution we can create a chart directly from our tables. I just need to open the editor with double clicking. And then, for example, I might be interested in visualizing with a bar chart the information relative to the countries from European Union. So I select those countries, and pressing with the right button of the mouse, I think it's called, I can choose to create a graph. For example, a bar chart, bar graph. You can see just how easily is created from directly from my table without doing anything else. And so, of course, there are nations which are showing very small numbers, and these small numbers might look like an empty information. Is just a little bit slow. I can, of course, resize a little bit my my chart, and you can see just appearing a little bit the information relative to the smallest country. So I can choose to exclude those countries from the visualization if they are too small, or I can just reorder my my graph so that it's more understandable. So, for example, here I changed the organization of the variables of the categories so that I'm showing the biggest waster, oops, and then all the others, biggest first and then the others. In this way is very easy to understand how can I'm just representing those numbers, but right like this I can see clearly how they are distributed. Okay, so the transition between tables and charts must be linear. Okay. Now I'll show you another graph that I can create directly from this table. And now I will be focusing on the rest of the word to not be polite and to everyone. And this time I'm choosing both variables because I'm interested in representing the shift between waste produced and recycled. So if I choose both and then I create, for example, a line graph, okay, I'll be representing, let me resize it a little bit, okay? So I have two categories right here, which are the two variables actually, okay? And I can see each country, for example, the country who is producing more is Korea. Korea is producing more waste than the other, and is also producing more recycled plastic than others. And I can see if there are differences between countries in terms of how efficient they are. Okay, so here, for example, the nation Chile, which is producing very little, it's difficult to say if it's more or less efficient compared to the other because the size of the country is it's uncomparable to the others. It's okay, but for sure I can see that Peru is not recycling actually almost anything. No, is producing but not recycling. So it depends what we want to highlight with from the tables to our chart. So we can change the focus of our report depending on what we want to highlight. Okay. So I've shown you with how we transit from one to the other, so from tables to chart. Now I will be transiting back just briefly to the slides to finish them and to introduce the chart builder part of the webinar. So now I've shown you how to create quickly charts from directly from your tables, but of course that's just a shortcut. Okay, we have a proper chart builder that we can use to create all the graph that we might need, but also as the custom table tool, also the chart builder has the possibility to see the preview of what we are going to do, which I think it might be very useful to understand if we are going in the right way or if we have to change something. Okay. Here I've reported the full bar chart for population just for the EU countries. Okay, and you can see that this, as we saw in the example before, might be the best way to represent an information from a categorical variable, which is also defined by as a numerical variable. Okay, so here we are watching the data with a graph, and so it's very we can also understand more or less, depends how precise our chart is, what number is behind those bars. Okay, so we can see that Turkey and Germany are the biggest country in the EU, around 80 million people. And also that there is much difference between some countries, the bigger one, to the others. But there is also the opportunity to visualize another information, which is kind of the other side of the coin. So not just with the pie chart, for example, not just the raw number, how many people are living in this country or the other, but I have a subgroup. For example, here I'm representing the world, not the whole world, of course, just these countries that are for whatever reason in my study, okay? And I can show you how big is Japan compared to the others. So I'm not interested here in knowing exactly how big is Japan. I want to know how does Japan size, population size, relate to Korea, to Peru, and to Australia. Okay, in this way, with a pie chart, I'm actually representing the percents of my distribution, which is another point of view to my data. Okay, I can have both giving me different information. So, and it's just a couple of examples to say that each graph is better suited for one purpose or the other. Okay, so we have to choose the best graph, and that's why I think that the chart builder is very useful, because you can see a preview of what we are creating. As you see here, for example, if I choose the bar charts and then I choose the staked bar chart, it's not a meet, okay? It's just one on top of the other, and we can see if that's we will drag and drop the variables in the proper places, x axis, y axis, and stack set color, and then say, okay, maybe it's what I'm looking for, or maybe not. Maybe I will try another option, and maybe that other option will be even better suited for my task. Okay, just another example. So if I choose the pie or polar chart, then immediately I have my review of what I'm going to do and create, and what I'm going to create. It's very easy to work, I think, to work with the custom table tool and chart builder tool, because they are forgiving. They give you a preview and they stop you if something is missing. Okay, not if you can see here, I won't be able to continue to press OK, because I've not put the proper variable into the graph. Let's go back to the software and try and see, not try, how the graph chart builder tool works. You see, now I'm onto the graph menu, and I go to chart builder, choosing this tool. As is true for custom tables, I can resize a little bit the workspace so that suits my necessities. It's for example, here like this, I can see properly the names of all the variables, and that's better, I think. Okay, so the first example, we might create just a simple bar chart, okay? And then we might be, then I will show you how we can progressively improve our representation, adding more information. Okay, so just to begin, let's visualize the plastic waste, okay, for all the nations that we are measuring it. Okay, so a simple bar chart. Before we had this one with the population, and now we are going to visualize just the plastic waste. Here is in alphabetical order. If we want, we can change it, but for now it's okay like this. I don't need to change it. You can see all that we said before is still valuable. Okay, but then maybe it might be interesting to add the information relative to different years. Okay, because we have 4 measurements more or less for each country. Okay, and visualize it on the same graph. So we can go back. I often use this tool to go back to what I just did, chart builder, and you see still also is also true for the builder is still showing as and is still as I left it. Okay, and now I can choose, for example, a clustered bar chart. Okay, in which I will have to add a new information. Okay, we have plastic waste, and then we can add, for example, year. Okay, so for each country, I will have different bars colored in different ways, just to visualize how much the plastic waste is changed from one year to the other. Okay, now it's a big one, so I will have to resize it a little bit. If it's too dense, I can also choose to exclude some variables, for example, Montenegro and Bosnia that are too small, but also Serbia and Chile. And I can create a graph that is even more in line with my need. Okay, it depends on what I want to show. If I want to create a comprehensive um, report, I will leave everything inside, of course. If I want to be more clearer, I can choose to modify a little bit, as I did previously by changing the order, okay, of the population size of the plastic waste. Sorry. Okay. In this way, I can be interested to see if every country is increasing their production of waste, or if there are differences. Okay. For example, Italy, I see more or less constant increase of plastics produced by waste by each year. Okay. Other country, a smaller one especially, I do not see this trend so vividly. Okay. So, for example, I could use the variable population group to separate this outcome, and to see if watch closely if there are differences due to the size of a country. Maybe it's just too hard to be able to recycle properly all the waste of a bigger country. I see also an interesting trend, for example, in Korea, where the plastic waste is increasing a lot, but I don't see that in United Kingdom, for example, okay, in which the value seems to be more or less constant. Just to give you some example of what kind of information you can extract from a graph. Also, just my eyes went on Poland. We saw, for example, from 2016 to 2018, we have here the year, a big increase, and then the increase wasn't that big after that. Okay, so something must have happened here. Okay, the last chart builder, the last bar chart that I want to show you is the stake one. Okay, for example, here by choosing this solution, I have to choose also the variable. Let's change it just for an example. Let's take paper waste, for example. And in this way, I will be showing the sum, okay, of each country, because I am putting the information relative to 1 year on top of the other. Okay, so for example, for France, we have here the 2022, then in 2020, then 2018, 2016 paper waste. So is actually adding that. So we have a 6-year period, and we have an information of how many tons were produced by this country. Still, I have the information relative to the different years, as I did here, but I cannot compare anymore 1 year to the other, because it's too complicated. In this visualization, in the stake one, I have another graph just upstairs to do that. here I can go back to comparing different countries. Okay, so United Kingdom, okay, is the bigger waster. I don't know if it's proper to say that. I could say that also here. I don't know, maybe. This is the plastic, so it's different, but it's another way to represent your data set. Okay, so different graph can definitely give you a different point of view. All right. The last example I want to make is by using the line graph, because as I showed you briefly previously, lines can be useful to connect an information that is changing year after year. Okay, in this case, year after year or country by country. So, for example, we can create a line graph. And to do that, we go back to the chart builder. We can choose, we can choose the reset button to use the reset button to start from scratch. Okay. Sometimes it's better when you are changing completely the outcome. And then I go to line and I choose which kind of graph I want to use. I will still I can still use nation, or I can choose population group, for example, just to change a little bit the ingredients. Okay, and then I'm going to choose both plastic waste and plastic recycled. Okay, I will bring them both. Okay, this is correct, so that I can compare different groups here. I can do it with nation as well, but it will be much more dense. We will do it in a second. But you see, like this, I can easily see how the two lines, plastic waste on the, of course, is bigger. It's more. Plus, there's more plastic waste than plastic recycled for the three groups, and see that there is a bigger differential between the inside the big countries, okay, more than 60 millions, than with the small country. Then I have to see if this is actually just because of the size, or if it's actually a trend that I can measure and see, extract more information about. So this graph can point my focus to looking for more information, for example. Let's do the same for paper. So I choose to watch the paper. Okay, paper waste, paper recycled. And we see a little bit a different trend, because it seems more stable between the three groups. And so we have this represented this information as well. I want to show you just before leaving space for your questions, to see that we can use also this solution, saving all the different nations that are present here. So I will change the categorical variable, okay, from population group to back to nation. Of course, this will be a much denser chart, but you saw how easily I switched from one category to the other without having to change the basic of all my work. So I just change one variable and I have a completely new and different chart. Here you see that there are countries like Italy, which is doing a good job in recycling paper, for whatever reason. It's not the only one. You see Netherlands as well. Here, Montenegro is just a problem of size, as for Bosnia. But there are different trends, okay? For example, United Kingdom might have a problem with the paper waste, or you can also use the graph to verify if some of your data might be to be checked again. I see a too wide, too big delta, too big difference between these two categories. So I might be interested in going to check if there is a reason for that. For example, maybe they are doing something different that doesn't show right now in my data. Okay, so it's look your data closely with the proper graph can give you many information about what you are working with. I think if you wanna leave 15 minutes, I'm already a little bit late, so I might stop. My colleagues are on the same page. Otherwise, I can say a few things more.
Okay, Ramon, we have received some questions.
Perfect.
Okay, the first one I have written to the chat to you. Is
Okay.
it possible to automate the formatting of the charts so that I can apply the same visualization?
But for sure, you can change the basic option, okay, of your chart from the options. Okay, so you can change something by default, and so every time it's gonna be the same. For example, I changed the colors of my categories, and those are gonna be changed like that until I change it again. Otherwise, if you are talking about like a script, you can save your syntax. Okay, so before you create like for example, I don't want the title. I can take out the title by default of my graph. I can change line size and whatever, and then if I paste this script, if I change the data and do the same script, I will have the same graph with the same um, notifications. So it depends exactly what do you mean, but there are different ways to achieve that goal. So I would say yes, generally speaking.
Okay, thank you, Ramon. Another one. How does the software handle outliers? Is there graph, sorry, for a visualization of the outliers?
Sure, sure. Because I was in doubt if showing you this actually might have been the extra if I went too fast. Of course, you have the box plot that it's the basic to explore your data. Here, it's not the best data set for this, but we can use maybe population group and then or population in general, but in population group, and we put plastic waste to the test. Okay, so we can see if there are outliers, and here fortunately there is at least one high value, which is this one. Okay, so usually into using the box plot, you can the software is going to show you if some number is too high or low. Here we have, for example, number 7, which is too high compared to the rest of the group. Probably if I don't take the population group variable into consideration, I won't have um, outliers. But let's see who is this guy. Number 7, Belgium. So Belgium is an outlier for plastic waste because it's a little bit too high compared to the rest of the smaller countries. So for sure, box plot. And of course, we can show you just one way to do it because it's just a webinar with the focus of like that you see something, but there are many different ways to do that.
Okay, Ramon, thank you. The last one, your experience, which type of visualization is most effective, for example, for the topic of the webinar?
Uh, um, I hopefully uh, you might be able to answer yourself. after the webinar. I mean, I try to explain this into the webinar. I mean, it depends what you are going to, what is your goal, especially what is the variable you are studying. Okay, so if I want to say which is the most which country is producing more waste, this is the best um, graph to represent this phenomenon, because you do a simple bar chart, then you change the order, and you see perfectly. You can count which one is doing best. Okay, in generally speaking, I mean, these are raw numbers, not compared, not weighted for population size. But if you are interested in exploring how the thing is changing year after year, you might need another kind of bar chart like this, in which you can see the change. So if your committer asks you how is changing something, okay, you have multiple information year after year, for example. This is a good way to do that. Also, the line chart can be very useful to that. It depends. Maybe the best example was the first one, this one, where I can see country by country how plastic waste is related to plastic recycled. So there is no best one for everything, like for the webinar as a whole, but for each case, I need a different graph for each case, not only for each variable. It's for each question. Okay, the question comes first. So you ask yourself something, and you find the proper answer.
Okay, Ramon, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now I only show some last information for the webinar of today. Thank you very much to all the participants for their attention, and Ramon too, of course. Okay, as already said, we as SPS, we always looking for new tools for share our knowledge and for our customers. Nowadays, there are customer area with some training material, videos, and other documentation for better use statistics for data analysis solution. In our website, there is a video academy with the recording of the last perhaps 5-6 years of webinars. And another interesting project is Statistics Express with video pills, short video lesson on very specific topics, you know. Okay. About some new, we have just signed some new term, long-term agreement with the UN agency, as already said, and this special agreement is valid for all the UN agency, and so we are at their disposal to show this special offer. You are going to receive the survey about the webinar of today, and please fill the form in order to give us your feedback and your idea about some new topics for the next webinars. Okay. If you have some question or if you need some information, these are our contacts. Please feel free to keep in touch with us, and we are at your disposal. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a nice afternoon. Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone.